Hello, this is a video for persuasive or argumentative writing essays. I'll be using the word persuasive and persuasion and argumentative and argumentation interchangeably for this video. Persuasion is, or persuasive writing is writing to change somebody's ideas, their beliefs, their actions, their feelings, and any combination of those. This essay you're going to be writing is going to follow the basic format that you've been doing thus far. You're going to have an introductory paragraph section. Then you're going to have 3 subtopics, and then you're going to have a conclusion, just like the rest. The previous ones that we've been doing. The difference between this and the other essays that you've been doing is you're asking people to make a decision to change something about what they believe, change something about how they feel, or how they're going to act, rather than just persuading them or just writing a paper to convince them that your thesis is true. Okay. So with this, your thesis is going to be your choice, of course, but you're asking them to make a decision about something. Okay. So for example, you might say, I don't know what your feelings are on vaccines, but you may want to, a can't even talk today. A persuasive paper would be, a thesis would be, vaccines should be taken by everyone. Okay, that's a fairly broad thesis, but it's something that people have opinions on, and you're trying to persuade them to feel or think a certain way about, say, vaccines. So in this paper, you're going to be aiming more for their feelings, their beliefs, whether or not they're going to benefit from believing what you have to say or what you're telling them. Okay. Now, in a paper, you're going to be using 3 different types of persuasive strategies, and you'll find more about this in your textbook. But you'll be using different combinations, different amounts of pathos, logos, and ethos. Now, pathos means you're going to be appealing to their emotions. You're going to, basically you're saying, if you agree with me, you will feel better. Okay. Whether that is feeling better because they're having, it's a pleasurable feeling to agree with you, or they're going to feel better because they're having pain removed from their lives. Physical pain, emotional pain, even a little bit of, emotional pain might be considered like guilt, something like that. Okay. Now, your subtopics are going to be the reasons why they should agree with you. So you can have 3 reasons why they should agree with your thesis. Okay. Now, I apologize for the focus switches here. It's a cheap camera. 3 reasons why they should agree with your thesis. Okay, so you're going to be talking perhaps if you're talking about vaccines, you may talk about reason 1. People should get vaccines because it prevents disease that can kill them, and so that can that hits on, say, your emotional change. It also could hit on your logical change or your logical reasoning, because they reason that if they die, other people that's dependent upon them will be negatively impacted. If you want to hit on the emotional part, You could be talking about how the people that love them will miss them. That's pathos. If you're talking about ethos, credibility, you could talk about how they should get vaccines because, and you should believe because doctors have told them, and they should believe doctors who, have way more experience in these areas than they do. Okay, no, we're not talking just about COVID or whatever, but just any vaccines. Okay, so you just think about 3 reasons they should agree with you, your audience. Now, for each subtopic, you're going to list the reason. For example, your topic sentence may be vaccines should be administered to everyone because they decrease the death rate. It's great. You need to explain how that's going to work. How do they do that? Why should you got to explain why the audience should care? Okay, so that's our next thing. You need to imagine your audience saying to you, well, so what? So what? They decrease the death rate. So what? And that sounds like a cheesy little question to ask. But if you think of it that way, it helps you figure out what to put in your subtopics. Decrease the death rate. Yeah, so what? Well, if you decrease the death rate, you're more likely to have your family around longer, have you maintain the labor force. It may affect you because you're still alive, and you got to explain those. So, basically explaining your reasons why they should agree with you. You can't, don't count on your reasons to explain themselves. Decrease the death rate. We think that's normal because, oh, that'd be a good thing. But you can't just stop there. You have to explain why it's important. And you do this 3 times. Okay. So look at your textbook for your model essays. Okay. Look at them, see how they do it, see where the thesis is, where the thesis is, see how they structure the subtopics. So you're going to remember that your essay thesis is you're trying to convince someone to change how they feel, think, or how they do something. Okay. It's still got to have a claim or topic and a claim. That doesn't change. But instead of trying to prove something true, you're trying to convince people to do, say, think, or feel something. Remember that you have 3 subtopics. You have a conclusion, just like always. And it's pretty much the same thing as the other essays other than that. Look at your topics, or look at your look at your examples in the textbook. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Remind, email. If you need to have a meeting, you can always schedule a meeting with me through Zoom. I guess that's it for this video. If you have any questions, just let me know. You guys have a good day.